Hi, Sands residents. Hope your summer was great. And I know a lot of you are heading back or already back here at the Sands and wanted to give you an update for the October 17th week here. Uh, Great news on the golf course. The weather's been really permitting our seed to germinate and basically get our golf course green again. So, with that said, the driving range will be open tomorrow, Friday the 18th, for use. And it looks like the golf course should be about a week and a half behind that. So we're hoping to open a little early, but we're still on target for November 1st for all your golfers. So that's good, positive news. Our driving range will have some parameters where you can use it. There are still some spots out there we'd rather you not walk on or use. So please abide by where the ropes are and stuff like that on the driving range. Talk with Paul, he'll get you all set up. He'll be here in the morning to make sure that everything's set up and ready to go. So Friday, October 18th, the driving range is reopened. For you pickleballers, I know a lot of you are coming back. We've got our nets being put up today, and hopefully they will work for you. I know some of the nets weren't measured exactly correctly, but they pretty much cover the areas that needed for winds that do happen here at the Sands. So those will be up. Want to talk a little bit about the wood shop. The wood shop was a project we were trying to get done at the beginning of last year, or beginning of this year, and it just kind of got put off due to some of the other projects we had. So pretty much finished over the summer. John Montanelli, who's the head of the Rangers, is finishing up the final details on the wood shop, and we should be opening that around November 1st also for your use. Please make sure to fill out the waiver before using the wood shop. If you're going to be in the wood shop, you can find the waiver at the wood shop. There's two bins there. One will have the waiver in it. You can sign and put it in the opposite bin, or you can stop by the guest services counter and they'll have a waiver for you here. We will periodically be checking the wood shop to make sure your waiver's on file. It's a disclaimer to make sure that you're safe and we're safe. Security here at the Sands, we're continuing with our overnight security with Olin. So if you have any questions, you can always feel free to call that number, the security number, and that's on your paperwork that when you check in or stop by the office or give us a call here at the guest services and we'll get you that phone number. The security is required to carry that phone with them, including our rangers. We have a ranger that comes on duty at 12:30 and is off at 9 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock till 5 in the morning is Olin security, and they should have that phone. If for some reason the phone's not going through, they've forgotten to put it in their pocket or left it in the car, please do not hesitate to call the normal guest services line, 760-251-1030. Leave a message. Obviously, we need your name, we need your site number, and your phone number. Victoria and I receive those emails and we check them constantly when they come in. So if for some reason, again, security doesn't answer their phone or a ranger doesn't answer their phone, please feel free to call that number. We will get back to you. In the state of California and Canada, there's been a lot of theft of catalytic converters. And most recently, in the last couple of weeks, our back fence has been hit. So we have 3 units that are older models that were stored back there that were hit with catalytic converter theft. What they do is they cut the fence, they crawl under the unit, and they take it within about 30 seconds to 1 minute. They cut them out, they take them. Doing some research with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and the local police departments, there's been over 100 thefts in Riverside County over the last year. Unfortunately, in the rural areas and areas that are a little darker, it's easier for them to get in. The reason they take the catalytic converters is that they can recycle them for anywhere from $30 to a couple $100, depending on what type it is. And then the recyclers can melt it down and they can sell the precious metals out of there for up to $6,000, depending on how much they get. There are a lot of laws in most states and Canada that require pictures to be taken for anybody that turns in a catalytic converter, a check to be sent to their home, but there's a lot of black market sales out there. It is a problem. It's a problem across the country, and it's a problem into Canada. Any newer models, I believe anything after about 2010, most of the catalytic converters are being put into the engine, so you have to take the engine out to be able to get to it. But for older model RVs and other units that have catalytic converters, vehicles that have catalytic converters, they're being stolen, and quite a bit of them. So it is a big market right now. So please be safe out there. It is something that's out of our control, and we are going to put up some more lighting in our storage area. But it is a 30-second to a 1-minute theft, and it happens pretty quick. So we do have security doing extra patrols on the outside and making sure that our place is kept safe. There was another hole in the fence in one of the areas. We didn't put a lot of out on Facebook or with the emails, due to the fact that it was a small hole. It was kind of it was odd how it was cut. We did have a resident report after our rangers reported it. It was patched up, and the fence company has put us on their list to repair. But again, no homes in that area were damaged. There was no need to alarm anybody, I felt at the time, until we felt that there was a reason to. So at this time, we didn't put anything on Facebook about it. I know other residents did, and that's fine. But again, during our home check programs and other things, we feel the park's been safe and that nothing's been broken into. So as of now, there was no reason to alarm anybody. Feral cats and raccoons. We have a problem here at the Sands. This has been a problem for years. If you are feeding stray cats and wildlife, it is against the rules and regulations. Victoria's worked with animal control in the past to trap some of the feral cats, spade and neuter them. They get returned to our location. The raccoons have become a huge problem. We have some very aggressive raccoons here, and feeding them is a problem. We've tried to work with Fish and Wildlife in the past a couple years ago, but they're non-responsive for the most part. It's considered a wild animal, such as a coyote, a snake, a roadrunner, any of those, and that they will come in and try to drink water and eat food, especially if you leave it out for them. So please don't. Raccoons might seem sweet, but they're not. They do cause a problem. The feral cats, again, if we have a volunteer group out there that would like to help trap them and get them spayed and neutered, we would appreciate that. We just don't have the staffing to do it at this time. Animal control will not come out and do it. You have to actually pick up the traps from Riverside County Animal Control in Thousand Palms, set them, and then return them. Take the animals to them, and then pick the animals up and return them to the site. That's the requirements. So with that said, if we do have some volunteers that would like to do that, we would appreciate that. We do have a volunteer form here in the office that you can fill out to become a volunteer for the resort. Work orders are really important. Our company policy from the top of the company down is that you cannot stop maintenance staff and ask them to do something. You must come to guest services and fill out a work order. They're electronically filled out now, and then follow through with an update to you at the end of the work order to make sure you're satisfied. And these reasons that we do this is for capital expenditures in the future. So if we have 50 people, let's say they have electrical problems and their meters aren't working, this gives us opportunity to prove to the main office that we need a capital expenditure to replace electrical meters and so forth. That's just one example. So again, it's not trying to keep control over the maintenance staff that you can't talk to them. It's more the fact that we need to keep control of it in a work order system so that we can keep the finances flowing in the right places. We do have some sad announcement. Sherman Toon, who's been a long-time employee and team member of the Sands RV Resort, has resigned and moved on. It's sad to hear, but at this time, most people do eventually. They give other opportunities and they move on. So we are understaffed right now. We will be for probably the next 4 to 6 weeks. So I do ask you to be patient. If your work order is not a priority, meaning an emergency or a high priority that needs to be done for safety reasons, it might be put off for a little bit until we can get restaffed. I do have some guys on the golf course that'll be coming off to help in the maintenance area for the most part. But again, be patient with us. If your work order's in, feel free to stop by and make sure that it's still processing, but most likely it is, and it's just being prioritized. Site construction, we have some upgraded sites that are being done, and as I stated, by the end of October, the contract will be finishing up. They might be working into the first week of November on a couple of sites, but for the most part, you'll see most of the sites that have been upgraded will be completed, and that the construction debris, concrete, other things will be picked up here the last week of October. And all my contractors I've been asked to have them out of the resort by the first week of November, so we don't have any issues as we did last year. The only contractors that you might see in the resort are electrical contractors or vendors that need to fix issues that are safety issues. Site cleanup, again, please be patient as you come back. I know a lot of you like to trim your trees and put your debris out. We do require in your rules and regulations that you bag the loose debris and that you bundle the branches and put them in the wash and or at your curbside, and we will try to pick them up. If they're not picked up within 5 days, please feel free to stop by or give us a call. I'll try to get someone out there as quick as possible. Again, we're going to be understaffed a little bit, but I do have members of the golf course that can help pick up debris. Coffees and Donuts will be announced here real soon. They're going to start with their meetings here. Coffee and Donuts is not a resident meeting. We want to make that very clear this year. There will be some announcements. I can answer some quick questions, but for the deep questions about the resort's vision, where it's going, rules and regulations, those should be talked about in a resident meeting. I will be having 2 this year, one in November and one in February. These will be your opportunity to meet with myself, the manager, and talk about issues that are facing the resort and where we're going in the future. So it'll be a 1-hour meeting, sit down, early afternoon in November. We'll announce the dates very soon. But Coffee and Donuts, we want to make it more about the activities, the weekly activities that are going on, the events, and really what's going on in the resort. So I don't mind answering a question or two, but we really want to take it more as a positive event and really a networking opportunity for you guys here in the park. And last, the rules and regulations. All of you should have signed your rules and regulations that are annual residents. Anyone that's not an annual resident can receive a copy of the rules and regulations, and on their stay are required to follow the rules and regulations. There was a little bit of a questions about rent payments. As you are monthly now and not year, and don't have to pay once a year, we follow the rules and regulations and policies by our main office. Late rent means anything after the 5th of the month. The 1st of the month, your rent is due. You give a small grace period up to the 5th. On the 6th, your account is charged a $50 late fee. After that, we do make attempts to collect the rent that's due. Sometimes people forget. Not a problem. We will work with those people. With that said, though, if you by the 15th of the month, if you have not paid your rent by then, a 3-day notice is applied to your account and at your front door of your unit. This is required by our main office. This is a policy of Sun. This is not anything unusual. It's always been in the rules and regulations. It's just not been implemented a lot in the past, and we wanted to make sure you understand this. Forgetting is every so often happens, and that's not an issue. But individuals that have been called and refuse to pay and tell us they'll pay when they decide to pay, it does become a problem. So just wanted to make that very clear as a manager. I have to become the police officer sometimes. It's not the funnest job when it comes to that, but it is part of my responsibilities for the company that I work for. As always, my door is open. You're more welcome to come sit and talk with me in the office about any issues that face you and your property and your questions about the resort. If not, we will see you soon at Coffee and Donuts, some of the events. We have an exciting season set forth. I'm very excited with Cheryl Montanelli's activities and what she's scheduled, and I think you're all going to be happy with the results that you've seen from the upgrades here at the resort, and that we won't have any major construction going on this year, and it'll just be a fun season to hang out and enjoy your retirement. All right, look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.